There is something inside of you that has been waiting for the right moment, waiting for perfect conditions, waiting for someone to give you permission. Let me tell you something nobody else is going to say to your face. The moment is right now. The conditions will never be perfect, and nobody is coming to save you. You already know this. Somewhere deep inside you, behind all the excuses, behind the delays and the I will start Monday promises you make to yourself, you already know the truth. You have been playing small, and it's time to stop. I want you to think about the last time you truly tried. Not the halfway attempt, not the version where you kept one foot out the door, the kind of trying that cost you something, the kind that scares you. When was the last time you showed up like your life truly depended on it? Because here's the hard truth. Your life does depend on it. Not tomorrow, right now. And you were not born to watch other people win. You were not born to sit in the stands and clap for somebody else's dreams. There is greatness coded inside of you, and it was there the moment you took your first breath. But somewhere along the way, you let other people talk you out of it. You let failure convince you it was not for you, and you let comfort steal your fire. And so here you are. And maybe you found this video by accident. Maybe you're scrolling at 2 a.m. because sleep would not come. Maybe the weight of everything you've done is pressing down on your chest so hard, and you just need to hear something, anything that reminds you that you do still have time. And guess what? You do. But this time is not going to be here forever. And I know what it feels like to carry this weight. I carried it for years. I was a junior hockey prospect. That was my everything. But one night, I got behind the wheel of a car and almost killed 2 girls. This, after a bunch of terrible decisions, ultimately led me to jail, where I sat for 45 days. Luckily, I walked out of there sober, and I thought I did the real work. What I realized is I hadn't done anything yet. I replaced the alcohol with drugs. I spent years in the oil field away from my family, living in isolation, and the lifestyle was breaking me, and I let it. I lost years, not months, years. And one day, I found myself with nothing left behind. The version of the old story I could keep telling. The truth of who I was and the decision of who I was going to become. I chose to build, not because it was easy, because my daughter deserved a father who did not quit, because I was tired of being the person I was settling for being. So I built him, day by day, decision by decision. I stopped waiting to feel ready, and I started acting like the person I was becoming before I could prove he even existed. That is the game. Most people are waiting to feel motivated before they even do anything, waiting to feel ready, waiting for fear to go away. But motivation follows action. It does not lead it. You do not wait until you feel like the person you want to become before you start acting like them. You act like them, and then the feeling follows. The discipline comes before the desire, and the grind comes before the glory. No excuses, and I mean that. I am not interested in a story about why it has not happened yet. I'm not saying that your circumstances are not real. I am saying your circumstances do not get to decide your destiny. Only you get to decide that. And every second you spend complaining about why you cannot is a second you are not spending figuring out how you can. Think about the weight you are carrying right now. The failed attempts, the people who doubted you, the times you put yourself out there and got knocked back, the dreams you quietly buried because it just felt safer than risking them again. I see you guys. I know that weight, and I am not going to pretend it's not heavy. But here's what I know. That weight is not your enemy. That weight is actually your training. Every hard thing that has ever happened to you has been building something in you you cannot see yet. The pain is never pointless. The pain is always a part of the process. The fire does not destroy you, it just refines you. It burns away everything that was never meant to be a part of you anyway. What comes out the other side is the real version of you, the version that knows that what made you is because it was being tested. But you have to let the process work. You have to stop running from the hard things. You have to stop choosing comfort when what you actually need is growth. Comfort is the enemy dressed up as a friend. It shows up at your door with a blanket and a warm excuse and says, hey, you need a rest. You deserve it. Tomorrow is good enough. And tomorrow comes and comfort comes again with it. And before you know it, years has passed and the dream is still sitting untouched, collecting dust. How long are you going to let this happen? How many more mornings are you going to wake up and feel that ache, that specific ache that comes from knowing you are not living up to what you're capable of? How many more nights are you going to go to sleep with the weight of unlived potential on your chest? Because that ache is not going away on its own. All it does is get louder and it gets heavier. And the only way to silence it is to do something about it. You have to make the decision, not a soft one, not an I will try my best decision, a real decision. A decision that changes the way you move through every single day. A decision that says, hey, I am done negotiating with my own mediocrity. I am done being comfortable with the comfortable. I am choosing the harder road because I know where this easy road ends and I'm not going to go there. This is the decision that separates lives, not massive dramatic moment, not a lightning bolt from the sky, just a quiet, fierce, unshakable internal decision. I will become the person I am meant to become. Not because somebody told me, not because everything worked out perfectly, because I finally decided, because I committed to the grind before I could see the result, because I chose to believe in something I could not prove yet. Let me tell you what discipline actually looks like, because everybody loves the idea of success and nobody wants to talk about what it looks like on the Tuesday morning in February when it's cold outside and you're tired and nobody is watching and there is absolutely no applause and the results are not there yet. That is where champions are built, not in the highlight reel, in the most invisible moments, in the moments when you could quit and no one would even know, and maybe no one would even blame you for it. But you do not quit. You show up. You do the work again and again and again. That relentless, unglamorous, thankless repetition, that is what builds the person you are trying to become. Not inspiration, not motivation, not waiting for the perfect stars to align. Discipline that does not ask how you feel about it. It just shows up. Fall in love with the process. Fall in love with the days when nothing seems to be working. Fall in love with the version of yourself that keeps going anyway, because that version, the one who shows up despite the doubt, despite the fatigue, despite the silence, that version is your real self. That is who you actually are underneath all the fear. Let me tell you what happens to the people who give up. It's nothing dramatic. That is the sad part. There is no explosion, no collapse. They just slowly drift off. They drift into smaller lives. They drift into the version of themselves that could have been greater. And one day they look up and realize they traded their potential for safety. They traded their fire for comfort. And it is the quiet devastation, not loud, not sudden, just slowly gray settling of what they could have been. Do not be this person. You have too much inside of you to let it die like that. Rise again. Every time you fall, and you will fall, that is not a threat. That is the nature of a real pursuit. You get up, you dust yourself off, not because it does not hurt, because it will hurt, because lying on the ground was never part of your story. Your story is about getting up. Your story is about what you do after the fall. Anyone can look good when things are going well. Your character is going to be revealed in the aftermath of a failure. That is when you find out who you really are. And I believe in who you really are. I believe in it more than you do right now. And that is okay. You do not have to believe in it fully yet. You just have to act as if. Act as if you are already the person you are becoming. Act as if discipline is already inside you. Act as if the version of you that keeps every promise to yourself already exists. Because action creates identity, and you become who you constantly act like. Think about the thing you almost quit. Think about the version of your dream you shelved up because you got hard. Think about the moment you told yourself it was not worth it. Was it actually not worth it, or were you just scared? The person this video is for knows the answer. They have known for a long time, and they are done waiting to act on it. We have 50 people starting the program, the same decision, the same mission, and all we want is for you to realize that you do have untapped potential, and becoming a part of our community and growing with us is going to open that door.